Wait a minute, ha? Let's talk about Ormoc a little before we move on. Kasi, alam mo, Ormoc, tragedy.
Yes.
Diba? Ganon
That's
ba?
when we broke in the national scene, when the flood happened.
And then suddenly, we find out that Lucy Torres, the beautiful wife of Richard, is from Ormoc. Marami bang Lucy Torres dun sa Ormoc? Para dun sa mga binatang naghahanap ng magaganda.
Marami. Go to Ormoc. There's lots.
Marami pa rin. Okay, yan. Plugging na yan. Para sa mga naghahanap na asawa. Okay, let's go back to commercials. So, your mom said yes, your dad said no. What happened?
She still made kulit, that girl. Didn't stop. And
Like, how long are we talking about here? Days, months?
I think over a period of a month. It was like an ongoing thing, phone calls. And finally, my dad said, sige na nga, okay. He just gave them offers that he thought they wouldn't bite siguro. And they did.
Okay.
So,
like a mega price?
No, not really a mega price. He just gave them a really hard time.
Okay.
And when they said yes to everything, so my dad said, what else is there for me to do? Parang it's a done deal. So off I went.
Okay.
And just before I left for Manila to do the ad, she told me that I would have a leading man. I know, the first meeting she told me I would have a leading man, but it was top secret. Nobody was supposed to know. Until the day nga before I left, and she said, you know who your leading man is? I said, no, who? Said, Richard Gomes. I was screaming, and I woke up my mom and my sister. I told her, you know, had you told me from day one, you wouldn't have had a problem. I would have done it for free.
Okay. Why for free? Were you a fan of Richard Gomez since before?
He was my crush. I really had a crush on him since I was grade 6. And
Okay.
I was just curious to see if he was really cute in person as he was on TV. But I wasn't like the groupie type na I'd really move heaven and earth to meet him. I just wanted to see out of curiosity what he looked like and what he was like if it matched.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's talk about the crush. Where did you discover Richard Gomez? Photos, TV show, movie?
Blusang Itim.
Blusang Itim?
Yes, the movie.
Sos Ginoo. Blusang Itim pa.
Yeah.
Okay. So you saw him in that movie, and then it just became an obsession, or he was just one of your regular crushes?
Because I never really had a crush in showbiz. So I didn't find anyone really that cute. But when I saw Richard, he was really the kind of man I wanted. Tall, dark, handsome. And yun, if you can call it an obsession, I started, everything was Richard. My notebooks, and if I would see newspapers at home that the maids would crumple already and throw, and I see his face there, I can't crumple that. So I just stick it on my
How old were you
backboard.
when this developed?
Grade 6. How old was I? Grade 6. Siguro mga 12, 13.
12?
Yes.
Okay. So this is like teeny bopper crush, okay?
Yeah, it was just a teeny bopper crush.
Yeah, but did it end and was rekindled by the commercial?
No, the crush was always there. Parang every time I see him in the movies, this guy's really cute.
Okay.
Really cute, but that was it.
Having a crush, having a anong tawag nun, slam book and all this stuff, no? It's a girly thing, okay?
Yeah.
But what was Lucy in real life? You know, I mean, the Papa's Princess. May nakaligaw ba sa'yo?
If it were up to my dad, wala. But my mom was there. We always call her Mother of Perpetual Help because when
What is the name of the Mother of Perpetual Help?
Julie.
Julie.
Yes,
Okay.
because when we can't get through my dad, we always pass through our mom.
Okay. So
It was always like that. So if somebody wanted to visit us, it wasn't, Dad, we have a visitor tonight. It was always, Mom, tell Dad.
Okay.
Somebody's going to visit us tonight.
Now, looking back, was Dad really difficult about this because he was scared for his daughters, or was he just being a pain?
No, I could see that he was really scared. Especially because the two girls were older than the younger boys. And siguro he was babaero before.
Okay, so you never really knew about your father's past nung binata siya?
But my mom would always tell me he had lots of girls also, and I think any father, and I see that in Richard now, he's also like that. But the thought of Juliana kissing another guy just really breaks his heart.
Okay. There will be, ano sabi nila, there will be hell to pay.
Yes, there will be hell to pay.
Okay.
So my dad, when we would have male visitors, he would be the type na he'll walk in front of us and
How big,
stare at the
how
guy.
tall or how big is your father?
My dad's tall, almost 6 feet tall.
Okay.
And he looks, how do you call that? Scary siguro to my, to the male visitors because he's big and he
Okay.
has bigote.
Aha.
He really looks like a haciendero. Kulang na lang a
Para bang
gun.
Franco?
Oo, parang ganyan. Parang
Okay.
mafia.
Okay. So, pabalik-balik ganun.
Yeah.
Okay, now, did it hurt or did it get in the way of your growing up, having a strict father?
No, because my dad naman he is a very loving father, but he's reasonably strict, especially when it came to boys.
Okay, when it came to Richard Gomez coming a courting,
When it came to Richard, I was surprised because he wasn't anymore. Yeah.
ano, na starstruck?
No, I think nahuli ni Richard eh. He's huli niya si Dad. Like when they first met, Daddy didn't know he was in the house. He came home from Cebu, my dad.
Okay.
Came back from Cebu, and he saw somebody playing basketball, shooting ball in the garage. And he said, that can't be Matt, and it can't be Jules because they have school. Matt and Jules are my brothers.
Yeah, your brothers.
I said, who's that? And the driver said, parang si Richard Gomez yan. And my dad said, no, cannot be. What would he be doing in my garage?
What is he doing
Yeah.
in my garage?
True enough, when he came down, I said, Dad, hi, it's Richard.
And you were shivering in your shoes?
No naman, because my mom was there eh.
The mother of perpetual
Yes.
help. Nasa likod, okay.
Yeah, and over dinner, they got to talk and they found out they had the same hobbies. Golf, shooting. So the next day, he took Richard to the firing range, and that was it. Never gave Richard a hard time.
Ito ba may preparasyon?
What?
Before Richard came, you better know that my papa loves golf,
No,
shooting,
no.
etc. Okay.
No, no preparation.
Okay.
I guess Richard's just really a snake charmer.
Okay. You found out Richard's going to be your leading man
Yes.
in the commercial. You're about to do the commercial. You've never done this. You've never been in front of the camera.
Never.
You must have been scared
Oh
stiff.
yeah, I was terrified.
Oh.
I remember telling my mom, parang Mom, I can't go through with this.
Where did they do the shooting?
It was the old Russian embassy, I think in Rojas Boulevard.
Okay. So it looked like a palatial home.
Yes,
Okay.
it looked like yeah. And I was terrified. My hands were cold and I was scared. I was really scared. But they did it naman a step at a time. They really told me what they expected me to do. And
Any bloopers?
oh yeah, I fell. My first take.
You what?
I slipped.
Yung paakyat ka dun sa stairway?
Paakyat, no, because the scene was I was supposed to run and toss my hair and look at Richard
Yeah.
and run back again.
Okay.
I slipped and went under the piano. There was a piano.
They have this on film.
I'm sure they do.
We're going to look for it. Paano? Sa mata ko, biglang wang sa ilalim.
I
Okay.
disappeared from the screen. I was under the piano
Okay.
with a bruised ego.
And then what was worse? Doing the blooper like that?
I was just
or
thankful
having
that
done it in front of Richard?
He wasn't there.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He still, because he wasn't needed in the shot. It was just Daya. I just had to emote that I was looking at him.
Okay.
Kunyari, he was watching. Can you imagine if he was there? What a first meeting.
Okay, tell us about the first meeting.
The first meeting was very early in the morning. And I think I was there since 4 a.m. And he came in at around 6 or 7. And I saw him through a crack in the door. So I looked at him and said, wow, he's really cuter in person. I had dysmenorrhea, but it disappeared.
Okay.
I was really like a fan. I said, wow, he's really cute. He's better than I expected.
Okay, but was the meeting, the final meeting, the actual introduction, was it all you expected it to
Yeah,
be?
it wasn't, it wasn't explosive, but it was a very normal meeting. He said hi and smiled, and then went to his car to sleep.
And were you like swooning all over the place?
No, I couldn't swoon eh. Di ba, syempre, kunyari.
Kunyari, hindi ka affected.
Kunyari, wala.
Okay. Now, you did what, 6 commercials, or 4 commercials together, right?
We did a series of 8,
Yeah,
5
oh,
of
8.
which we were together.
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
of which were together. Okay, now, how long did the project take?
Every year we would do 1. So there were some years when we would do 2. So it was from 93 until 97. The last one we did in 97.
Okay. When you came out in the commercial, how did it affect your life? Did it change you? Kasi biglang, wow, Lucy Torres, who is she? What happened?
Only in that sense that people would really, stop and stare. Before they would look, but this time they had a name already. It was,
And they look 3 times now.
yeah, that's the girl in the commercial.
Okay. Did you suddenly have 10 times the number of suitors that were from Manila going to Ormoc? Or
Yeah, there were. I had suitors, but I always had a boyfriend already. I only had one boyfriend, but I had him when I was 16.
Okay, so long.
It was really a long relationship,
Okay.
so there was nobody in between.
Okay, now, did you do any other showbiz thing, after the commercial?
No.
So you really said, ito lang, and then you went back to Ormoc?
Yeah, the most that I did after the commercial was do magazine shoots, pictorials. That's about it.
Okay, we have to go for a break, Lucy, and when we come back, I'm going to have to ask the questions because our viewers are going to lynch me if I don't. We'll be right back here on Straight Talk.